Hi, I'm James Moss, the second manager of the Craft Centre in Leeds over 30 years ago. I'm speaking to you from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania in the US, where I moved in the late 80s. Happy birthday to the Craft Centre. It's astonishing that it's still there. As I remember, we struggled very early on in our existence. The initial purpose of the gallery was to combine the best of man-made items along with machine-made items, and it was the vision of Anthony Wells Cole, who was passionate about both craft and well-designed decorative arts. We were supposed to be self-sustaining, so we received no money, and therefore we really had to make sure we sold anything that we bought in particular, but anything that was in the gallery. We struggled, as I said, early on, but we were supported and sustained by the people of Leeds, who had often never seen the kinds of items that we had in the store. And I remember one lady came in with a bag of change one day to buy a birthday gift for a co-worker. They'd had a whip round, and all she said was she didn't know what she wanted, but it had to come from the Craft Centre. And I think that speaks volumes about the selection that's obviously still there, and the beautiful items that often left people agog at what could be made by hand and how beautifully things could be designed. So happy birthday, another 40 years to come, let's hope. I have 4 items from the Craft Centre, 3 of which I'll show you here. The first is a small lidded pot by Stephen Jones, who I believe at the time was working in Brighton, and he was especially well known for the crystalline glazes that he used in his pots, which you can see on the lid here. I actually bought this pot for my mother, who died some time ago, and I reclaimed it from the estate, so it's with me now. The second item is a bowl, a salad bowl by Janice Chelenko. Janice Chelenko, who sadly died in 2018, was a phenomenal potter who decorated her pots, as you can see in this example, in a very painterly style, and she was very successful. She was in fact so successful that she came to think of the decoration process as something of a chore, and once told me that she had to fortify herself with wine before she could entertain decorating as many pots as she was required to deliver. That success actually propelled her into design as well as manufacture, and she designed a range of very similar pots for Next, and later did some work for Trisha Guild. You can, if you ever put one of her original pots next to the Next pot, you will see the qualitative difference between a handmade and a mass-produced item, but the same essential design qualities exist in both. She was a lovely woman, and this pot, of all the items that I have, reminds me of the Craft Centre. The third item is a chair by David Colwell of Trannan Furniture in Powys, and it's steam bent ash with rattan cane back and base, covered with a wool cushion. It's a beautifully designed item. It folds up very neatly like a deck chair. It's very comfortable to sit on, very light, doesn't take up a lot of space, So it's a very useful item of furniture. I have two of the chairs which I brought with me from the UK when I moved to the US. My fourth item I won't show you. It's a Jan Zalud puppet, but unfortunately the head has become detached from the body and it does not make for pretty viewing. Nonetheless, it was those items that I've kept from the craft centre, my time there. It was a great time. I'm really glad the institution still exists and you're doing much more magnificent things than we could have ever imagined back then. And I hope you have 40 more years of continued success.